Hello and welcome to Culturama, where on this show we are taking back tomorrow today. And on this show, what we're trying to do is to reclaim the spirit of traditional Americana back into the United States, the one that we have lost so long ago with the introduction of woke ideology, postmodernism, critical race and gender theory entering major academic institutions, and also the induction of rather primitive and questionable cultures in the United States. On this show, what we are attempting to do is to reclaim the zeitgeist culturally and politically back into the United States. And how else can that be more possible or more obvious than through trying to reclaim classic traditional Americana aesthetics like we are attempting to do on this show? So we're trying to do that spiritually, politically, and culturally, and we hope that we're going to have a lot of guests on this show to support the cause as well. And on tonight's episode, I want to talk about quite a few topics, one of which is Kamala Harris, running for presidential candidate, is attempting to win the black male vote by, get this, offering them weed and money. People are calling it a racist policy position for various reasons. We're going to be touching on that, and also her plagiarizing her book quite extensively. We see that as a pattern time and time again. I'm going to be talking about that, among many other things that I think you will find a lot of pleasure in listening to and have quite a bit of fun. So that's the intention of tonight's episode, the premiere episode of Culturama. And I already see that we got some comments in the Rumble chat, so I'm really excited to see friends watching the show. I have another segment that I'll be popping into called Offensive Statistics, where we talk about, get this, offensive statistics that some people may find a little offensive. I'm going to be questioning you this on the segment. How or what percentage of Americans do you think are Jewish or Black or any other minority? I'm going to ask you that question, and I'm going to have you think about that before I come back with that segment, Offensive Statistics, where we talk about offensive statistics. But before I get there, I'm just going to do a shameless plug here and ask you to please follow the show and follow me on Locals and support us on there, where you can find updates for the show, behind the scenes sneak peeks of the show Culturama, and also it's just a good way to support the show. It's $5 a month. If you just want to make a one-time donation or a continuing donation, it would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you want something more tangible to get from your support of the show, we also have a merchandise shop where we have just added quite a few on quite a few merchandise on there. We have a mug, a sweatshirt. I think we just added a tote bag today, a pillow as well. Quite and more coming, by the way. We're gonna have a lot of merchandise on there that I think you will appreciate and enjoy. That can be found on the forlibertyshop.com. I will be putting up the link here shortly in a moment. And also, if you want to text me, if you want to reach the text line, if you want me to read your messages, text the number 573-416-0635. Again, that is 573-416-0635. I'm assuming I'm going to have a lot of chats as this show goes along, and if you just want to direct hit me where I can read your texts, I would greatly appreciate that, and it will be at that number. Once again, 573-416-0635. I will also be putting on that number here in a moment. So just stick by, lean back, relax, enjoy the show. We have about a 2-hour show today that I think you will greatly appreciate, and I know I will greatly appreciate talking about as well. And I will be right back. So just tune in, stay in there, and I'll be right back.
We were towns with friendly neon signs. We were living in this simple times. Leading by pursuits, praises, deeds benign. In our hearts we long to rewind.
Oh, the past was where the look belonged. Singing our nostalgic song in a world that felt so right and true. Without progressives to misconstrue.
We were towns with friendly neon signs. We were living in this simple times. Leading by pursuits, praises, deeds benign. In our hearts we long to rewind.
Oh, the past was where the look belonged. Singing our nostalgic song in a world that felt.
The elephants marching with red in the air. Handshakes and smiles showing strength everywhere. Drum beats a charge with promises bold. The new era shines, or so we've been told. Donkeys are hiding, feeling the blues, as the red, white, and blue take over the news. It's a brand new day. The GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets played loud and clear. Decades have passed with the same old song. Now they say it's time to move along. Trump's in the spotlight with his charismatic charm, bringing the spotlight, raising the alarm. Elephants leading with the banner unfurled, the grand old vision shaping the world. It's a brand new day. The GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets play loud and clear. Together they march, side by side, with a push for change, nothing too high. Red, white, and blue, it's a bold new year, as the trumpets play loud and clear. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets play loud and clear.
Okay, so on this segment on offensive statistics, I did want to bring up a topic that I think a lot of people will find rather interesting, and that is what Americans think our percentage of the US population are minorities. And this Twitter account, IO or ILashO, is a Twitter account that covers mainly statistics. In fact, his posts are pretty well done for this segment particularly, but he brings up a lot of inconvenient statistics that some people may find rather offensive, but they're also true. And so what I want to contend with you today, and I hope you ask yourself this question: what percentage of Americans are Jewish, are Black, are Muslim, and other minorities? And it turns out, as you can see with this for the screen here behind me, is that Americans thought that 30% of the US population were Jewish. It's actually 2%. And as for Blacks, people thought it's 41%, 40 to 41%. They're actually 13%. And Muslims are actually 1%, and people thought they took up about 20, 27, 30%. And so here are the statistics right here. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that your answer to the question, was it greater or less than some of these numbers here or some of these averages here? I want to question or talk about the issue here in that why did respondents of this study or this poll really think it was that exaggerated of a number? And I actually want to say that some of their assumptions here are actually, I don't think, although they were drastically off, are not unfounded, considering that minority populations have been steadily increasing for the last 10 to 12 years. And I wanted to bring up a few statistics, again, concerning that. So here we go. This is just a page I found. I just Googled, right? I went on and I Googled what were the changes in demographics for the last decade or so. And I found this page. It's called the usafacts.org. It's a really lovely page. I hope you can see it here behind me. But here we have the racial and ethnic makeup of the US demographics for the last 12 years. And so what we can see here is the white demographic since 2010 to 2022, if you can see it right here behind me, has remained largely the same, but it actually dropped in 2022. I believe this was the only population to drop, was white Americans. And what we see here is that Black people remain largely the same, 12%. And however, Hispanics are the population that increased the most, from 16% to 19%, 19.1 specifically. Also Asians. That's also including East Indians, your Chinese, Koreans, whatnot. It increased from 4.8% to 6.1% as well. So the ethnic minority to increase the most was actually Hispanics, Latinos, and Asian demographics. Now, I find that quite interesting, considering that some of our immigration policies have been facilitating this for quite some time. And, also with the Kamala Harris campaign, that I want to draw attention to, how the Kamala Harris campaign was basically offering free money for first-time home buyers. Now, who do you think would be most incentivized to take these loans and to take these funds to become first-time home buyers? A lot of it is a Hispanic population. Now, it's one thing or another to claim that there's no particular issue that you may take with the U.S. demographics changing, but it is interesting to draw attention to the fact that it, in fact, is skewed in one direction. And also, it seems like the United States civilians, citizens, and white Americans particularly are already, used to the concept of them directly becoming the minority. Again, going back to this tweet, 40% Jews, or I'm sorry, they said 30%. 30% of the population Jews, that's quite a big number. They thought Blacks were almost half at 40%. Okay? That's drastically large number. Why do you think, and I want to ask you this, why do you think Americans are becoming more used to this idea? And why do you think white Americans are considering the fact and accepting the fact, quite frankly, that they are becoming the minority? Well, a lot of it does have to do with the fact that, and we've heard this argument before, advertising, movies, major media, a lot of them do paint this picture that the majority of Americans are minorities. It's kind of funny how that works. Majority, minority. It's funny that we use that term now, but they're painting the image that there's a lot of these, like, you know, Black, Hispanic families, mixed race couples just being disseminated all throughout the United States, when that's actually not the case. Whites are still the majority, a great majority, over the majority of the US population. But we are having, for some reason, Americans just don't think that's clearly the reality that we live in. However, advertising does have a lot to do with this. But do you think that we actually want that? The answer is yes. As you can see with the screen behind me here, this study was conducted to see if white people prefer seeing minorities in advertising. And it seems to be the case that for the last 60 plus years since the civil rights movement, Americans actually do prefer to see minorities in their advertising because it makes them feel better. Wow, imagine that, right? It's almost like we're coping and contending with the fact of the sins of the past in the United States. White Americans' preference for Black people in advertising has increased in the past 66 years, and it has been ever increasing, and it is projected to increase. And there's a study right there. Now, I'm not going to read this entire study off to you because that will be, frankly, a little boring for you, I would imagine. But just to distill the information of this article, basically what it states is that Americans, since the civil rights movement, the projected interest and the projected desire to see minorities in advertising has been steadily increasing, and it's only projected to increase. Although that may be changing, I think that with the increase of immigration and so forth, particularly among conservatives, people may be more resistant to this as the years go by. We will see, but it's almost as if that we are being conditioned within ourselves to want to accept this view that whites are becoming the minority. And whether you think that's bad or good, that's a different conversation, you know? But I just want to state the fact that this is in fact happening, okay? And yes, it is being, you know, pushed in the media. It's being pushed in movies. Major media corporations are pushing this. You know, we're seeing more Black/Hispanic, Latino actors in movies and so forth. But we want this. We're asking for this. And again, this has just been increasing since the civil rights movement. I'm going to get back to the next story. I will get back to you. I do want to say, text the line 573-416-0635 if you want me to directly read your text. I'll check that line in a minute. And please support us on Locals. It's a forlibertynetwork.com on Locals where you can support us. You can just donate, make a one-time donation or multiple donations from the stream where you can support the show and the show's growth. Again, this is a premiere episode. We're just launching, so we're going to have a little bit of a rough start, but it's going to go so much more smoother if you just donate. And I will be putting that link up on the screen as well. I'm going to be hitting up a lot more stories, so just relax, get your favorite drink, get a beer. Also, if you want to enjoy your coffee, in a nice mug, there's a Culturama mug on our merch store. It's a forlibertyshop.com where we have a bunch of merchandise on there already. And one of them is a super snazzy mug that you can win to enjoy your delicious coffee in. And so I highly suggest that you look into that. Not only are you directly supporting the show, but you are getting a tangible addition for supporting the show. So I will be right back. Just stand by. We're going to be talking about our next topic here. And I think you're going to find this one rather interesting.
The elephants marching with red in the air, handshakes and smiles showing strength everywhere. Trump leads a charge with promises bold. The new era shines, or so we've been told. Donkeys are hiding, feeling the blues, as the red, white, and blue take over the news. It's a brand new day. The GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here as the trumpets played loud and clear. Decades have passed with the same old song. Now they say it's time to move along. Trump's in the spotlight with his charismatic charm, bringing the spotlight, raising the alarm. Elephants leading with the banner unfurled, the grand old vision shaping the world. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here as the trumpets play loud and clear. Together they march, side by side, with a push for change, nothing to hide. Red, white, and blue, it's a bold new year, as the trumpets play loud and clear. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here as the trumpets play loud and clear.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty strong. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway. In the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day.
In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive in the light of freedom's sky. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down.
All right, we are back, and I did get a few texts already sent to the number that I'd advertised. Again, if you want your text read on Culturama, because I just won't have time to get to every message on Rumble or on YouTube or Twitch. I don't even think I would check Twitch all that much. I'm surprised I'm actually streaming on Twitch considering some of the topics that I'm talking about. But if you want your text read, text me at 573-416-0635. I put up the number up there. Just shoot me a text. I'll do my best to read everyone that I do receive. But, you know, also, please subscribe to the channel. Follow the channel on whatever platform that you're watching on, or perhaps if you're an ex, follow my account, follow the AP for Liberty account as well. And just donate to the show. You can support us through just donating a donation to the chat. Or also, I put up the merchandise shop online as well that you could look up. We have a lot of merchandise that I think you'll enjoy. but I'm going to read some of these texts before I move on to this story. And I will say that this story is rather sad. Sydney Wilson, I believe her name is, she was just shot the other day, and I saw this on Twitter all evening last night. I figured it would be a good segment or a good topic to put on the show because it's just been discussed quite a bit ad infinitum. So I wanted to ad infinitum, actually. My apologies. But I will be talking about this, but we will be watching the video of how this person, how their life was taken, and having a little discussion on that. But I will warn you, it is viewer discretion advised because it is a little graphic. The police officer started bleeding, so you're going to see a little blood being thrown in there. So viewer discretion is advised, but this is a topic that I think is rather pertinent culturally and politically. It will be discussed, I'm sure, in the presidential run by either candidate. So just stay tuned for that. But before I do that, I just want to read some of the texts that I've received. I've already received, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe. If not more, actually. Here's one. Okay, someone texted me and said, hold on a second. This is, by the way, I want to reiterate to everyone watching, this is a premiere, so be a little patient. Very cool visuals. Was your show, this person asked me, very cool visuals. Was your show inspired by the Fallout TV show at all? I feel like Lucy started her show from her bunker. Well, viewer, I don't know who Lucy is, and I don't know anything about Fallout. I know it like tangentially. I know people that played the video game. I will say all I'm aware of as far as that is concerned, that entire franchise, is the aesthetics. So yes, and I've been told that the aesthetics would work very well with Fallout fans. All I'm aware of is the aesthetics. It's my female brain. It just won't let me get into video games all that much. As far as the extent of, I believe it's a video game. You said TV show, so I could be wrong actually. But as far as the extent as video games are concerned, all I've ever played was Super Mario. I've just I did speed runs on it when I was younger, and that's really the extent as far as video games. Oh, and Mortal Kombat. That's the extent as far as video games are concerned. So I never got into later eras of video games, but I do like the Fallout aesthetic very much so, especially with like the, I don't know, the decrepitness part of like that 1950s aesthetic. I'm a big Vaporwave fan, so as you can tell, I like the failings of I like kind of like the decrepit nature alongside with what was once it was bygone era but a successful era, and I like that. Except part of the show, we're not trying to support the idea that the 1950s is this decrepit era. We're trying to bring it back, and I do like the aesthetics of the show very much. So yes, very good question. Moving on. This person wrote, very cool visuals. Oh, sorry, I just read that. My mistake here. Again, premiere episode. Bear with me. You're killing it. Love the studio. Love the pearls. Thank you. I do want to say that these are real pearls. So thank you very much. We knew there were going to be teething issues. Keep working it. You get there. I don't know what you mean by teething issues, but yes, whatever you mean by that. Oh, sorry. Whatever you mean by that, you're accurate. Thank you. Let's see here. Here's another text coming in. Congratulations, you are a HCB now. Can someone please text me and remind me what HCB means? I'm drawing a blank right now, but I want to thank you so much. They sent me the champagne emoji there, so I'm presuming it's a positive message. HCB. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on what that means. Please resend me a text. Sorry, I'm having a blonde moment right now. I would very much appreciate an explanation on that. Okay, moving on with the stories that I wanted to talk about today. So, Georgetown women's basketball mourns the tragic loss of Sydney Wilson. This individual was shot and killed actually a month ago, in September 16th, by an officer. And before you get your pitchforks up and ready, because I know people that are watching this are going to have their pitchforks up and ready for this one. But I want to talk about who this individual was and what exactly caused them to have their life taken away by an officer. Now, I'm going to be playing a little video for you, and once again, I do want to reiterate, this is viewer discretion advised, okay? It is a little graphic, but I'm going to be playing it for you, and you just watch, and you just think about and tell me, if this deserved to happen, if this was supposed to happen. Let's take a look. So Andy he's a really good account if you want updates on stuff like this, on crime-related issues. But I'll be playing the video here right now. Breaking Fairfax County, Virginia. It's not really breaking, it happened a month ago, but the footage just did release. Fairfax County, Virginia, police released a body cam footage of an Asian American officer who shot dead a 6'5" black assailant. Let's watch it here.
How are you? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, back up! No! Oh, yeah! Back up! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Hey, man. I got nothing to do. Please back up. Oh, yeah! Back up! Oh, back up! Back up! Back up!
So...
Fight to the one bubble.
So you can see her, and I do want to say that people have been tweeting and saying like, oh, is this a transgender individual? Because there was some, basically, just to make this clear for you, a lot of people thought that this was a transgender individual that conducted this attack with it's a huge knife, by the way, quite scary. And these rumors were proven to be false. This was in fact a biological female, so it was not a transgender individual. It's not a biological male. But the idea has been spread because I think, first of all, she's 6'5". She's huge, okay? No wonder she was a basketball player. Quite successful, I'm sure. But she, I believe that the officer at one point says, stand back, man. So I think that contributed to some of the confusion as to why people thought that this individual was transgender. Let's watch it again. And at the end of the video, I'm going to have this play till the very end. There's blood dripping from his hands. I just want you to watch that here.
Back up! Oh, no! Oh, yeah! Back up! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Hey, man. I got nothing to do. Please back up. Oh, yeah! Back up! Oh, back up! Back up! Back up! Fight to the one bubble.
Yeah, there's the blood. You can see it pouring down from his hands.
Single one. Shots fired.
Where's your location?
See that? Oh man, that's kind of creepy.
322. Apartment 322. 11830. Somebody.
So anyway, I'm not going to be, well, actually, let's scroll through this thread. Maybe we can see some of the, yeah, there's the picture right there. So at first, when I saw this picture, I thought that like a sticker was imposed on his face for like a blood sticker, I guess. But no, that's really his blood. As you can see, I certainly do not envy the position of police officers. I thank them for their service. But clearly the NAACP are not sending their best. And the reason why I bring that up is that because Sydney Wilson was an NAACP activist. And September 16th is when this happened. I looked up Sydney Wilson the other night and I saw that the death date was September 16th. I was a little confused. I'm like, did they get the death date wrong? But no, it did happen September 16th. So this case is over a month old, but the footage has just released. And she was an NAACP activist. I am surprised that BLM hasn't been talking about this, and I wonder why. Maybe it's the fact because she has attacked him like this way with a knife, a carving knife. Who's that horror? Is it Michael Myers? I think. I'm not a horror fan, so but she just went at him like trying to stab him. It's quite frightening. But the same activists, BLM activists, NAACP, all these activists have been pushing for years this idea that, you know, in the past, that police officers, oh, they're brutal. and, they just wantonly kill Black people, we need to have body cams, right? And thank God for their activism, because if it wasn't for the body cams, this Asian police officer, I think, would be in a lot of trouble considering who this individual was, Sidney Wilson. So thanks for their service there. I'm going to just look through some of this thread here. She says that her death groan was caught on camera. That's quite, and again, I don't want to make fun of the situation because it really is tragic. It's unfortunate that we did have to lose a person like this, but at the same time, she did attack him with a knife. And again, we don't even know why. She just wantonly attacked him. He was sent to her apartment for a wellness check. So it wasn't as though, he was aggravating her in any way. It was just a wellness check. And she just directly attacked him wantonly without any reason. It's quite unfortunate. And yes, he did shoot her in self-defense. I'm glad that X is pointing this out right here. I haven't seen a lot of leftists really bring up the fact that this was an act of cruelty or an act of a police officer taking advantage of a situation to kill a poor Black person, because they just can't control themselves. She outright attacked him. And I wonder if that had to do something with the fact that these talking points that police officers are these evil cretins trying to kill the poor Black or Hispanic or whatever minority, insert here, American citizen, trying to kill them because they're abusing their position of power. I wonder if that somehow, as an NAACP activist, if that went through her head at all within the last few years, especially since around 2020 with George Floyd's death, if that had to do anything with the fact that she outright attacked him and that she clearly vilified the police officer before she could even communicate or make any contact with him. We can look some of these tweets here, but release the name of Sydney's killer. Already we see these were some of the reactions by BLM/Antifa supporters to the shooting death of Sidney Wilson in Virginia. So we can already see. So I guess I was wrong. We have leftists here already sounding the alarm. There you go. Not inspiring much confidence that her healthcare provider was so concerned for her welfare. Do you think it would have been better if they just sent a social worker in to help her? Do you think that would have gone well if the person that was sent to her apartment did not have a gun? I don't think it would have went very, very well. Okay, so already they're sounding the alarm. Well, it is election season, so I can understand why that would be the case, I suppose. Body cams don't lie. She was trying to stab and slash the officer. Glad he is okay. Look at that. That image is completely terrifying. I'm surprised, honestly, when I was watching back the footage, I was surprised it took him that long to shoot at her. He had a lot more patience, because I would have shot immediately, to be honest. If someone approached me with a knife like that, that's terrifying. Looks like Resident Evil. Yeah, that's so true. Okay. Well, at any rate, I'm going to be bringing on quite a few more stories here, so I want you to stick by, tune in. I'm going to be talking about a figure and an individual that I think will bring quite some attention to this stream on the premiere episode, and that is Nick Fuentes. I have been seeing some grumblings on Twitter yesterday, last night, before the show, that he has joined or he is going to join Kick. And that has upset some of his followers, and I will be touching on that for various reasons. First of all, it is kind of serving this show. Every time I mention Grapers or Nick Fuentes in any capacity, I get quite a bit of attention. So maybe it will work this time, maybe not, we'll see. But I want to talk about him joining Kick. Also, tune in, stick watching the show, because we will be talking about Kamala Harris's racist policy. That and more coming up. Please support us on Locals. It is found on the 4libertynetwork.com. Again, 4, the number 4, libertynetwork.com. That way you can send a one-time donation or multiple donations to the show to support us. On Locals, you can also find frequent updates and behind the scenes updates on the show Culturama. Or if you want to support us and get something tangible in return, find us on the merch shop at the 4libertyshop.com. I will be posting a panel with that link and other descriptions on the site here in a second. So just stand by, and we'll be talking about, coming up, Nick Fuentes joining Kick.
In the diner, sipping soda pop, jukebox tunes that never stop. I see fades print on different scenes, lost the cultures on a different frame. We walk down the same old street, but our stories never meet. Different worlds, side by side, in this twisting 50s ride.
The elephants marching with red in the air, handshakes and smiles showing strength everywhere. Trump leads a charge with promises bold. The new era shines, or so we've been told. Donkeys are hiding, feeling the blues, as the red, white, and blue take over the news. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets played loud and clear. Decades have passed with the same old song. Now they say it's time to move along. Trump's in the spotlight with his charismatic charm, bringing the spotlight, raising the alarm. Elephants leading with the banner unfurled, the grand old vision shaping the world. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets play loud and clear. Together they march, side by side, with a push for change, nothing to hide. Red, white, and blue, it's a bold new year, as the trumpets play loud and clear. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets play loud and clear.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefties throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive, in the light of freedom's sky. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The red is coming down.
Okay, we are back. I hope that whoever's watching did have a chance to look at the shop. We do have quite a bit of merchandise there that I think you will enjoy. But this next story I want to touch on, I'm going to say hopefully will draw some more attention to this stream, because it seems like every time I invoke this man's name, I get a lot of attention on my tweets, at least, albeit negative attention, but attention nonetheless. Because listen, we're starting this stream. I want to go in hot. I want to go in ready. I want to go in with as many eyes as possible so we can at least pick up a few fans. And so I'm going to do it. I'm going to say his name, Nick Fuentes. Okay, everyone? Nick Fuentes is going to join Kick, or at least he claims he will. And I want to talk about that. But before I do that, it looks like I did get some more texts, actually. And again, if you want to text the show at any point, please text 573-416-0635. Again, 573-416-0635. That is going to be the main line for direct text messages. And I suggest that you do that, because I just will not have the time to get to the Rumble chats, the Twitch chats, the YouTube chats. But I will have time to directly look at the text line. So if you want to communicate with me in that way, we can do that. And I am getting a lot of texts here, and I will make it my utmost best to read them out loud on the show, because I'm asking you to text me. So, what else can I do here? Let's see here. So earlier, someone said that I was a new HCB. I asked them, what does that mean? For some reason, I don't know what that means. And stand by, clutch your pearls here for a second, because I will be swearing. It means hot conservative bitch. So that's what it means. Thank you. That is very true. That's what I am, or so I've been told. Okay. This person says, many of the blacks who appear in ads seem to be white fantasies, well-behaved and friendly to whites. I can see why white viewers would find such ads reassuring and enjoyable, kind of like The Cosby Show. That's actually a very interesting point that, boy, I could talk about that quite a bit here. That's a very interesting point. And I think you are correct, whoever submitted this text, because yes, in a way, it perhaps is a way for whites, American whites, to reassure themselves of how Black citizens particularly act and how they should act, right? So it's almost like assigning or projecting certain roles and meanings onto a demographic that may not ordinarily act in that particular way. And I think you make a really good point there, especially with the reference to The Cosby Show, because as far as I'm aware, that was Bill Cosby's original intention with the launch of the show, and that was the original intent of the show at all generally, is that when the show was initially launched, they were trying to impose this idea for the American public, stating that, well, look at this, you can have a well-to-do Black family that's a family of doctors. I believe they were both doctors, Bill Cosby. I believe they were both doctors, Bill Cosby and his wife. I forgot the names. I actually didn't enjoy the show very much growing up. But you're absolutely right in that they created that show specifically. One of the main reasons was to introduce the idea for Americans, because they had an entirely different concept of Blacks at the time, I presume, that, Blacks cannot be well-to-do individuals. And it's almost like the stereotype, which they most certainly can. But at the same time, you had shows and concepts promoted by the show, like the Bill Cosby Show, that this was all that, African-American Black citizens ever were, where clearly, as crime statistics most often do not indicate, is that the demographic and I suppose the Black American community does struggle with the sins, or I suppose the crimes of the impoverished, and that due to, whether it be due to classism or whatever reason, is that Black people in America do suffer major crimes more than any other demographic in the United States. I would have to look at the statistics as far as Hispanics and Latinos are concerned, because there is an uptick of crime as far as we have Latino immigrants coming into the United States, especially with drug trafficking. But one of the demographics and the communities in the United States most riddled with crime is the Black American population, quite unfortunately. So yes, to beleaguer the point even more, it is kind of a way for white Americans to impose this idea that, Blacks just act this one way and they are just not, or their population is not prone to promoting a crime culture or even engaging in a crime culture. And that's why we see advertisements and films promoting this idea, almost to like put it in our heads that this is just not even possible. Don't even consider the fact that the Black population is riddled with crime culture. Let's not even question that. So yes, sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, but let me continue reading your text here. Yo, Daniela, so far so good. Your voice on stream sounds beautiful. Your fiance picked well. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Google Voice here. Who is a basketball player who was shot on drugs? If you're referring to the one that we just talked about, her name is Sydney Wilson. She was part of, I believe it was the Georgetown basketball team. You will have to probably reconfirm that on Google later on, but her name was Sydney Wilson. I believe the basketball team was part of Georgetown. Okay, another text says, greetings from Route 66. I just wanted to let you know that you're doing great, and I'll subscribe as soon as I can reload my debit card. Robbie. Thank you so much, Robbie. I really appreciate that. Boy, that's a really good start. So thank you so much. We're already getting subs in. Okay, this person asks, is the music real or AI generated? So that's a really good question. All this music so far that is playing on stream is AI generated, actually. And when I first started doing that, I was actually quite shocked with how well it was done. But if you want to submit some music yourself, that would be very much appreciated as well. You can contact me on Twitter about that. If you want to talk with me directly, it's at Pensac Daniela. That's my @ again, at Pensac Daniela, my last name and my first name. If you know of anyone, or if you want to create some songs for me for this show, would be highly appreciated. I am trying to stick to like a 1950s and 1960s theme, so just keep that in mind. But otherwise, all the music here on this show so far is AI generated. Okay, I don't want to miss anything, so bear with me. Okay, I think this is the last one so far. Okay, can you talk about Stanley Kubrick's daughter claiming her father would have been MAGA? Well, I could do that, very much so, perhaps the next show, because I know nothing of that. Can you talk about Stanley Kubrick's daughter claiming her father would have been MAGA? I like Stanley Kubrick. The Shining is one of my favorite films. I wouldn't say it's my top favorite film, but it's definitely like the top 3, top 4. If he would be pro-Trump, I actually don't know. The interesting thing is I don't know a lot about his politics, so I actually don't know about that. But it seems like that, based on what you told me, his daughter his daughter said that he would be MAGA. That's really interesting. I may have to talk about that in the next show, actually. I do very much like Stanley Kubrick. I like his films. So yeah, I could maybe talk about that or mention it briefly in the next episode. We'll see. But I didn't know that his daughter said that, actually. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Who knows? Maybe we'll bring that up in the next stream. Okay, moving on. So, Nick Fuentes. Again, a name that no one can ever mention without getting some negative attention here. I'm saying his name, I'm bringing up the story. For one, I find it interesting and I think it is pertinent to right-wing culture here in America. Number 2, it's going to get me a lot of attention, hopefully, so fingers crossed on that. especially if people are watching on Twitter. Groypers, Nick Fuentes followers, are just infamous for this. They're infamous for publicly ridiculing you as much as they can if you bring up his name. So hopefully we'll get some attention on this show tonight. But Nick Fuentes is to join Kick. Now, I want you to think about who Nick Fuentes is and the type of following that he has cultivated over the years. Now, no doubt Nick Fuentes is highly effective in what he does. Okay, I'm not going to deny that. He has cultivated this massive base of supporters called Groypers, and they're going to make some major changes in the right-wing movement in the next decade or 2 decades in American politics. And I truly believe that. We're already seeing the effects of that happen and in this election cycle in the last few years, and I think it's only going to grow. And so I'm not going to deny his successes or the successes of his movement, and at least shaping the right-wing zeitgeist in America today. But at the same time, there are quite a few issues with his rhetoric, and I think this story truly highlights that, because according to this post, as you can see right behind me, America First Post or AF Post, Aiden Ross has recruited Nick Fuentes to join Kick. Now, why does this go against his general rhetoric, right? Well, I was looking through this post the other day, and I see that the comments, people were really upset about this, and I was wondering, well, I'm not going to show the comments because they were swearing quite a bit, but people were very upset about that, and I was wondering, well, why would they be upset about Nick Fuentes joining Kick? Well, it turns out Aiden Ross was born to Jewish parents. All I had to do was Google Aiden Ross Jewish, right? Okay, moment of disclosure. I don't know anything about Aiden Ross prior to this stream, okay? I just thought people were mad at Nick Fuentes for this, and I was wondering why. But he was born to Jewish parents. He is a Jewish streamer, and because of that, for some reason, Nick Fuentes' followers, Groypers, got very upset with him. Now, again, I want to ask you, the movement that Nick Fuentes has successfully cultivated and has truly mobilized to, I think, make serious impact in the United States in the next decade or two, or maybe even more, who knows? That was built primarily on the back of questioning Jewish subversion, right? Questioning Jewish impact and influence in modern politics and also in historical politics here in America. And yet, somehow he decides to just kowtow to Aiden Ross to join Kick. I'm going to play a clip here for you right now of him talking about that. So let's listen in.
First Kick stream coming up. The hammer on you guys, because you know how it is with cancel culture.
Hey,
so I appreciated him saying that.
100%. Hey, chat, let's get Nick on Kick.
My first Kick stream coming up.
Wait, really?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll do one. I got to get my username though. Could you get me my username and then I do one for sure?
100%. I'll get your username.
Sweet. Yeah, then I'll do it. I'll do a Kick stream. I'll stream here every night.
He'll do a Kick stream.
Wow. Holy shit. Okay, let me get you that name and let me get you that verification.
Sweet. All right, let's do it. Yeah, I'd love to come on Kick.
Sounds good, man. All right, we'll be in touch. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. The hammer on you guys, because you know how it is with cancel culture.
When I initially watched this clip, I thought like, well, what is really the big deal here? I mean, he just wants to join Kick. That's not really like that's a nothing burger story, right? But again, it upset a lot of his followers. And honestly, I'm going to say it right here. He kind of deserves it considering the following that he has cultivated. Aiden Ross is Jewish, and it's almost as if these people treat the word Jew like it's an end-all, be-all vilification that they throw at you if they find you disrespectful to Nick, if they think that you're an enemy of the cause and so forth. And, you know, I've been called Jewish so many times on Twitter for questioning Nick Fuentes. I'm not Jewish. I posted my 23andMe probably like 5 separate times on Twitter. But they still call me Jewish because at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter what your ethnicity or your genetic background is. What matters is that that's the end-all, be-all, catch-all phrase that they deem on someone that they find questionable to their political movement. I think it's a little silly, but, you know, whatever. They may do that. But it's a little weird when if they decide to do that at the same time, they're going to have their main follower basically listen to the subversive elements of Jews in media. Here's another clip. I think he's kind of trying to not necessarily walk back, but reframe his new streaming endeavor in a different light. So this account says that Nick Fuentes announces that his Kick streams will be featuring gaming, commentary, special guests, etc. No politics. I like his little pumpkin actually right there. That's kind of cute.
Great debate. Yeah, well, mid-debate, but good stream. Thanks to Aiden Ross. Thanks, Nico. We appreciate the guys at Kick. Maybe I'll do my first stream there next week. What if I did my first stream there next week? Maybe I'll do gaming. If I do a Kick stream, I'm not going to do politics. I don't want to step on their toes. I don't want to get them in trouble. If I do a stream on Kick, I'm going to keep it PG. We're going to do Minecraft. We'll do a video game. We'll do something, commentary stream. We'll do something different. We'll switch it up. Maybe we'll bring on a guest. So if they can hook me up on my channel, I'll do Kick. Great debate. Yeah, well,
interesting. Isn't that interesting? So if he does go on Kick, a la the suggestions of Aiden Ross, by the way, a Jewish man who was born to Jewish parents, he doesn't want to talk about politics on Kick. Don't you find that rather interesting? The man who says that people usually sell out to the Jewish conspiracy, the JQ, usually they don't want to talk about anything controversial, political related. He decides to join Kick, and he doesn't want to talk about, get this, anything controversial or possibly JQ related, right? And it's just so happens that he wants to talk about just gaming, commentary, maybe have a few special guests, nothing controversial. You know, I just find that a little hypocritical due to the type of movement that he has cultivated, that he has engendered here in right-wing politics in America. So do I personally think that it is an issue that he is joining Kick due to the suggestions of Aiden Ross, a Jew born to two Jewish parents? Absolutely not. I don't think that's a problem at all. And if he wants to do gaming commentary, that's his prerogative. I think that's actually great and spectacular, and that offers a little bit of a brief reprieve or a break from his usual political commentary on his cozy stream. I just find it interesting that when he's away from his cozy stream on a different platform, upon the directives of a Jewish man, he's not going to talk about politics. It goes directly against his rhetoric that he has been spewing for the last several years. Anyway, I'm going to get to my big story here coming up about Kamala Harris's racist policies that she's promoting. And I think this is really you're gonna have a really fun time listening to this one. So I'll be getting on that. Also, I will be talking about her plagiarizing Wikipedia for her book. This very educated woman cannot seem to write a single book. So I'm going to be talking about that as well, among other topics that I think you will very much enjoy. Again, if you want to text the show and if you want me to read your texts, text me at 573-416-0635. I presently do not have the mental capacity to read all my Rumble or my Rumble chats right now, or on any other platform, on Twitch or on YouTube. So if you want to text me directly, go to that number 573-416-0635. And if you want to support us directly, go to the forlibertynetwork.com at locals. That way you can find some additional behind the scenes footage, some updates on the Culturama show if you're enjoying this show. And my chin touched premiere episode, everyone. If you want some updates on the Culturama show, or if you just want to support me directly, support the show directly, it's highly appreciated. Just go to the For Liberty Network on locals to support me there. But if you want something more tangible to support the show, go to the merch shop. We have a lot of merch, and we're only going to be having a lot more merch. And you can just message me personally if you have an idea for a merchandise option that you think would be a big seller, actually. But right now we have pillows, we have a candle, a sweater, a mug. So I think you're going to like that quite a bit. So go to the forlibertyshop.com. In this commercial break, I will be putting that on screen. So just pay attention to that, the forlibertyshop.com, to support the show. it will be highly appreciated, really. It's a launch of the show. I'm already excited to see the audience that I have right now, but it's only going to grow, hopefully. But if it doesn't, need your support. So please tune in for the next segment that's going to be coming up. I will be right back.
I'm glowing in the night, shining like a star in this atomic age, a brighter by far. Untouchable energy, it's a glowing affair. Ready, I'll take you everywhere. I'm untouchable now, feel the power in the air. Radioactive rhythm, but sense without care. Electric and alive in this atomic embrace. Unstoppable now in this glowing space.
The elephants marching with red in the air, handshakes and smiles showing strength everywhere. Trump leads a charge with promises bold. The new era shines, or so we've been told. Donkeys are hiding, feeling the blues, as the red, white, and blue take over the news. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets played loud and clear. Decades have passed with the same old song. Now they say it's time to move along. Trump's in the spotlight with his charismatic charm, bringing the spotlight, raising the alarm. Elephants leading with the banner unfurled, the grand old vision shaping the world. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets play loud and clear. Together they march, side by side, with a push for change, nothing to hide. Red, white, and blue, it's a bold new year, as the trumpets play loud and clear. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets play loud and clear.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty strong. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
Golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we stride, in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The red is coming down.
Welcome back to Culturama. Again, on this show, what we're trying to do is to reclaim the traditional spirit of Americana back into the United States and trying to reclaim the zeitgeist of the United States politically and culturally. What we have lost long ago with the induction of woke ideologies and questionable and primitive cultures. And we're just trying to reclaim that classic Americana aesthetic back again. Good traditional American values. And also conversations that we are just not having anymore. One of my main passions is having conversations that people don't usually have. I'm a big advocate for free speech, and that is my intention of this show. So if you have anything that you would like to say to me, please text the number 573-416-0635. If you have a guest that you would think would be great to bring on the show as well to talk about issues or concepts that you think isn't being touched upon enough in our culture, let me know. You can text the number on the show, 573-416-0635. You could also DM me on Twitter. That's where I'm most active. It is at Pensec Daniela. You can find me. Actually, I'm going to pull it up right now. I have this story up. This is a big story, okay? We've hit... it's 6:12 p.m. where I live. This is the middle line of the show here. So, I'm going to be talking about that. But just in a second, I do want to bring up my Twitter account. So this is my Twitter account. There's a banner of the show. But there's my at Pensac Daniela. So if you ever have a topic, a discussion, or a guest that you think would be great for the show, just DM me. I also highly recommend that you follow me. I have a lot of fun stuff that I like to post. But at any rate, there's me advertising the show. But at any rate, that's my at. Just DM me. I do my best to respond to all messages that I receive. Even if you don't follow me, I will still look at the message requests and I will read your message. So please reach out. Okay. Now, this is a big story. This is the one that's titled, okay, Kamala Harris wins over the black male vote, right? Here we go. This is what I'm going to talk about. This policy that Kamala Harris is putting out there is rather racist for various reasons. It's racist in its intention, and it's racist to other people. It's racist to white people as well. Not only that, but it's racist against black men. So let's take a look at it. She tweeted this the other day. I will be reading it verbatim here, but then I'll be including some of my commentary. But Kamala Harris states that black men deserve a president who cares about making their lives better. She will create an opportunity agenda for black men. And what this includes as is her legalizing weed for all American consumers, but this is tailored towards black men, so there you go. She also wants to give black men who want to start a marijuana business a leg up, right? Just proliferating that. We already talked about criminality, but she's trying to... The black community is riddled with drug culture, with criminal culture. It's just true. She's trying to rectify that right here with legalizing recreational marijuana. And here's the last point. She wants to facilitate opportunities for black Americans, which I suppose is all well and good, but this policy position is clearly directly affecting or pointed towards one demographic of people, and it's not helping others. Provide 1 million, this is the first point, provide 1 million in loans that are fully forgivable up to $20,000 for black entrepreneurs and others to start a business. Again, this is just for black entrepreneurs, people that want to start a business. Not white people, not Asian, not Hispanic or Latino. Support education, training, and mentorship programs that lead to good paying jobs for black men, including pathways to become teachers. I actually think that's pretty necessary and pretty good. It's necessary in the community. I think that's a good thing. Protect cryptocurrency investments so black men who make them known their money is safe. launch a national health initiative focused on the illnesses that disproportionately impact Black men. Okay, that can be neither here nor there. But the legalized recreational marijuana point I want to focus on, because, and also the 1 million in loans, because I think that is, quite frankly, rather racist. Why is she offering only Black entrepreneurs? I can't say that word. My apologies. Entrepreneurs. There you go. Entrepreneurs. Why is she offering only Black business owners money, but not white people or any other minority? We've just established that the Hispanic community and the Latino community is the main, or demographic rather, it's not a community, so to speak, but the Latino and Asian populations are the ones growing the most. However, she wants to only win over the Black vote here. Is it perhaps because she doesn't think that she is popular enough with her very own demographic and her own market, so to speak? So she's basically shilling out a drug program to legalize and allow recreational marijuana for these individuals. Again, once again, tailored to Black people. I also want to look at the comments here because I found them rather funny. Bribing voters and discriminating on the basis of race is illegal. This is overt racial discrimination. Can you imagine if Trump put something like this out and replaced the word Black with white? This is the most racist thing ever put out by a sitting vice president and candidate for president. And that's absolutely true. And it's racist in both ways. I want to reiterate. It's racist in the fact that it is completely discriminatory against white people. So she's not giving money towards white entrepreneurs, white small business owners, young white small business owners that want to start a business, a fully fledged business that they want to be successful. She's not giving them any money, any loans, but for only Black people. It's quite interesting. Also, it's racist in the way in that she is basically stating that all Black people care about is free money and legalized marijuana. Now, you think that's a bit hyperbolic, but it's not. Does anyone remember the PPP loans of the past during COVID? I want you to keep that in mind. I'm going to get to that, and I think you're going to get a lot of enjoyment in some of the tweets that I will be reading here in regards to the PPP loans of COVID. If you guys don't know, the PPP loan program was the one where the Biden administration gave out basically free money to individuals who wanted to start a fully fledged small business, and also people that wanted to retain business employees from getting fired or leaving or getting laid off. And so to retain small businesses in America, in the United States during COVID. And it turned out that, guess what? That program wasn't quite successful. And we will get to why here in a moment. But I just want to read some of these comments here. This person wrote, Gunther, this is blatant racism. This is what America has come to. Politicians using our taxpayer money to pay for groups of people to vote for them. This is so sad. That's exactly what she's doing. Because she doesn't have any direct strategy or helpful policy here that's actually full of substance. And we will get to in the next few sections here why she can't even write a book. But the only way and the only strategy that she is familiar with and that her campaign is familiar with retaining votes and gaining new votes is to basically buy people off. And they're buying people off, this particular demographic, Black males, by giving them drugs and free money. Anyway, let's get to the main meat and potatoes of this policy recommendation, this policy suggestion that she's proposing. So this Twitter account posted the PDF that was found on her website here, reiterating and bringing more into depth the policy that we are talking about here. And I'm just going to open it up here in a second. Now, I'm not going to read this in verbatim, obviously. It's quite lengthy. It's 9 pages. But what I wanted to bring attention, actually, part of this PDF, is you see how as we scroll through the pages, there's these like red text here. So yeah, the Kamala Harris campaign is basically lying because read this. Donald Trump and his Project 2025 agenda would raise costs and increase the racial wealth gap for Black men and their families. Donald Trump and his Project 2025 agenda. Did anyone watch the presidential debate from a month ago or so? Do you remember hearing Donald Trump saying that he supports Project 2025 or he's proposing that? No. Trump outright, to the detriment of some of his fan base, but he outright condemned Project 2025. But this policy recommendation that the Kamala campaign is putting out is lying directly to its constituency and to its voters. Donald Trump is not attached to Project 2025 at all, actually. And so they're bringing up all these points about how it's racist. Do I really have to sit here and read this out to you? She's gonna call him racist regardless. I mean, she just outright lies. I like how the text is in red because it is a deception that's out here. So it's in red saying anything that's in red is a lie, but I think this entire document could be a lie. Trump wants to raise the prices of household goods, from clothing to groceries to medicines, costing a typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Under Trump, jobs disappeared and unemployment spiked to nearly 17% for Black Americans, including 16% for Black men. During the pandemic, Trump shortchanged many Black-owned businesses and gave special treatment to large, well-connected companies. I want to look at something with you about Black-owned businesses. Okay? Remember COVID and PPP loans? I said we would be getting to this point. I want to look at this thread with you. Okay? Basically, what the PPP loan program was that under the Biden administration, they gave out loans, money, to individuals that started a new business or had a small business that just wanted to stay the course during COVID. And it's quite unfortunate because a lot of small businesses did have to get closed down. It costed a lot of people a lot of money. And so what the Biden administration did is that under the PPP loan program, they would give small business owners kind of a leg up to maintain their services during COVID. A quite unfortunate time. On paper, it sounded like a very decent policy, right? Well, this is what happened when they passed this policy. And I want to shout out this person confirmed let's see, what's her account name? This is the account name right here. At ManDaveJobGood. They retained this entire Twitter thread, and this is very helpful. But on the launch of the PPP loan program, what you started seeing is that during COVID, these new businesses crop up. And it turns out that Black people were starting businesses to get free money, almost unlimited. So here's an example, and we're going to be going through some of these just so you can get the idea. Money Rain Entertainment, self-employed. Okay, you think, well, this is just some random business. We got Free Money LLC, again, just cropped up when the PPP loan program was proposed. We have, we're not looking at that one, hold on. These are the individuals that submitted so they could get these PPP loan programs. We had a Shaniqua. We had a LaShawn, a Shaquille. I don't know how to pronounce that. Shaquille. A Don Quavius applied for Don Quavius Mayweather, Athens, Georgia. That was his last name. Let's look at some of these other businesses. There was one called Wakanda Inc. Is that on here? Yeah, New Wakanda LLC. So businesses like this you see cropping up just to get these free loans, right? Let's look at more here. And then what also happened is that you see these tweets cropping up during the PPP loan program. And you see tweets like this. Y'all call it PPP loan fraud. I call it reparations. Y'all call them scanners. I call them freedom fighters. That's from this lovely individual right here. Why wait for slavery reparations? There is still time for every African American to apply for a small PPP loan. No employees needed. You don't even need a business. You'll qualify, no questions asked. And no matter how many lies you tell them, you tell to get the loan, it will be forgiven. And he writes here that nearly all were forgiven, especially the single employee ones. A few people who made flashy purchases and claimed larger loans got caught. So, let's read this one. Black people got PPP loans last year, and most went to Miami 3 times a month. Got chains, had seafood boils, went to Denver to get high, LMFAO. But I suppose to believe reparations are what's going to save us, LMAO, give me a break. Scam the F out of these PPP loans. We need reparations anyways. I hope y'all getting every dollar possible out of this crooked, racist ass government. So again, this is the Biden's PPP loan program, and this is what it cultivated. It cultivated an entire demographic of people, an entire group of people taking full advantage of it and then framing it as a reparations program, free money, right? That they somehow deserve. And I see how this would tie into quite easily to this policy program that Kamala is pushing. So anyway, I don't think I have to bring up anymore how blatantly obvious this is and how much of a concern this is. But this basically reminds me, Kamala's policy reminds me of this, and how she's essentially giving them, hey, here's your joints, here's your free weed, and by the way, here's your free money if you want to start a black business. If you call yourself, LaShawn, a black entrepreneur, here's a free money. This is no different. She's inserting a new reparations program that's just under a different name. Because reparations, of course, is a very questionable, it's a policy position that's not very popular, despite what progressives may tell you, or even what right-wingers may tell you, what Ben Shapiro tells you. I don't see it being a very popular policy position. But what these people will do, and what these public officials will do in order to take advantage of you, is that they will reframe it in a way that they will utilize your tax-paying dollars, hard-earned money, to finance these people where, frankly, they just simply don't deserve it. So tell me your thoughts on what you think about this policy position. Am I just too harsh on it, or am I pretty much accurate on my assessment of it? You can text me at 573-416-0635. I will also be talking about the other sins of Kamala Harris as this show proceeds, and I want to talk about how she plagiarized major portions of Wikipedia, of all places, for her book, Smart on Crime. She just can't write. And again, writing a book isn't that hard, but here we are. Presidential candidate can't write a book, right? So, text me your thoughts. You can also send a Rumble rant if you're interested. I will try to access that as well. And also just support the show on Locals. You can find us at the forlibertynetwork.com. That way you can find behind the scenes posts, or you could find other updates on upcoming shows and episodes and streams. And also you can just support the show through there as a one-time donation, or through multiple donations, or you can visit our merch shop at the forlibertyshop.com. We have sweatshirts, we have mugs, we have candles. We just got a pillow. It's really cool. And more on the forlibertyshop.com. And so I will be right back to talk about how Kamala Harris has plagiarized major portions of Wikipedia and other, and I think it was for AP. She also plagiarized Associated Press and other articles for her book. This woman can't write. She can't make a decent policy, and she can't write. I will be right back to talk about that in a moment.
The elephants marching with red in the air, handshakes and smiles showing strength everywhere. Trump leads a charge with promises bold. The new era shines, or so we've been told. Donkeys are hiding, feeling the blues, as the red, white, and blue take over the news. It's a brand new day. The GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here, as the trumpets played loud and clear. Decades have passed with the same old song. Now they say it's time to Walks in the spotlight with his charismatic charm, bringing the spotlight, raising the alarm. Elephants leading with the banner unfurled, the grand old vision shaping the world. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here as the trumpets play loud and clear. Together they march side by side with a push for change. Nothing too high. Red, white, and blue, it's a bold new year as the trumpets play loud and clear. It's a brand new day, the GOP's in play, waving flags high as they dance and sway. Democrats hush, for change is here as the trumpets play loud and clear.
In the city lights so bright, ideals clash in the night. Opponents stand side by side. Cultures collide, nowhere to hide. Fists meet dreams in the street. History on repeat. Our world's in a spin. Let the future begin.
In the diner sipping soda pop, jukebox tunes that never stop. I see faces from different scenes, lost the culture on a different dream. We walk down the same old street, but our stories never meet. Different worlds side by side in this twisting 50s ride. In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefties strong. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway. In the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down. With a flagpole planted firm,
Golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down.
Hello and welcome back to Culturama, where on this show we are reclaiming the zeitgeist politically and culturally in the United States. And we are trying to reclaim it for the better. And we are trying to reclaim the traditional spirit of Americana, the one that we have lost so long ago due to the induction of woke ideologies, postmodernism, and critical theory back into academic institutions, and also through the induction of primitive and third world cultures in our country. And so what we're trying to do is to reclaim the zeitgeist for the better. And on this segment here, I want to talk about how Kamala Harris is plagiarizing major portions of Wikipedia for her book. So this individual, Christopher Rufo here, made an exclusive post talking about it. Kamala Harris plagiarized at least a dozen sections of her criminal justice book, Smart on Crime, according to a new investigation. The current vice president even lifted material from Wikipedia. And here we have the receipts. So I'm going to be just reading this off to you, but basically what Christopher Rufo, and by the way, this account is pretty cool. I would suggest you go and follow him if you're interested in like right-wing culture, the dissident right, and what they're doing in reclaiming the zeitgeist here politically in the United States. This guy he makes good posts, but at any rate, but this investigation was done by a Dr. Stefan Weber. He is a famed Austrian plagiarism hunter, and through his expertise, he has found that Kamala Harris has plagiarized major portions of various articles and posts online for her book. And it looks like that she has plagiarized quite a bit off of Wikipedia. And I just want to say, Wikipedia really, ever since high school and middle school, I've heard you never source Wikipedia really for your paper. I mean, we all have a little bit, right? It's a pretty good source to find distilled information. But you don't just plagiarize it outright. This is like high school 101, right? High school, middle school writing 101. I would hope she went to college. In college, you can get outright suspended for plagiarizing materials. They really scared us students when I was going through my bachelor's and my master's program that you do not plagiarize. This is embarrassing that she would even do this. But through this Twitter thread, you can see here that he shows major sources where she has plagiarized from. We see the Associated Press. Here's a text that this is from her book. This is from the Associated Press that was plagiarized. John Jay College of Criminal Justice, word for word, by the way. Again, if you're going to copy and paste something, at least change a few words, right? I mean, that's just common knowledge. No, she didn't even bother to change a single word. She copied and pasted it word for word. This woman is running for president in the United States. I would be terrified to do this in my own college program. Okay, Wikipedia, again. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like for this section, she took out the word in order, or the phrase in order. Wonderful. I was just putting in a lot of effort there. Again, word for word, copied and pasted. From the Bureau of Justice Assistance, there's a whole paragraph that you see that she copied. Urban Institute. So, like, I'm sorry, this is very embarrassing. This woman is supposed to be the best genetic material that we have in the United States because she's running for president. She's supposed to be an exceptional class. She's supposed to be an exceptional U.S. citizen. She can't even write her own book, okay? And I understand writing a book, that sounds like, oh, it's such a great endeavor. Writing a book is not that hard, actually. You just have to dedicate some time, like an hour or two every day to do. Eventually, you will write a book and you will get it published. It's not that difficult. Almost anyone can do it. Almost anyone can publish anything. It's not difficult. I've come across a lot of books that were published that weren't even that exceptional of a book, but give or take, it's still pretty much that author's original content and their original ideas. She can't even write a book. I want you to consider that a woman who's running for president can't even do that. And this isn't a phenomenon that Americans are just ignoring because, as I've tweeted a little while ago, that this is actually a phenomenon that's happening with Black female academics here in the United States, and we are just seemingly brushing over that. Thankfully, that the former president of Harvard, Claudine Gay, was found guilty of this, and she has been removed since that. But we have had an epidemic, almost, it seems like, of these BIPOC academic females, it's primarily females, plagiarizing word for word. And these are Harvard, okay? These are Harvard people. Fourth I just screenshot an article that I found, I just Googled it, but fourth Black female Harvard scholar accused of plagiarism amid assault on DEI initiatives. Of course, the title is a little biased. It's saying, oh, this is, part of a campaign that's an assault on DEI initiatives. But regardless, this is a real phenomenon that's happening. Claudine Gay, here's a picture of her. She was a former president of Harvard. Again, a president of an Ivy League academic institution here in the United States, one of the foundational elements of our country academically. The source of major ideas and conceptualizations that are coming out from the United States. Its president was found plagiarizing content. I want you to consider the legitimacy of these academic institutions and the legitimacy of these foundational elements of our country, because these people cannot even write their own content. Now, I have a Substack. I know a lot of people that have a Substack, and it's all original content. It's not difficult to do. You don't have to be a mastermind to do that. And I would presume that if you are a Harvard intellectual, you would do that. But for some reason, if you are Black and female, you are 2 points ahead of the rung on the intersectional feminist scale or whatever, you can just get away with plagiarizing content and be cool and be fine. And no one's going to question you and your legitimacy otherwise. Thankfully, with the story of Claudine Gay a few months back, that is being brought back into the cultural conversation here in the United States, and Americans are now starting to reconsider that. But it seems as though, and I'm wondering, in the past, have we just completely ignored that? Has this happened more in the past with female Black academics or female minority academics, where they have just gotten away with plagiarizing and they have gotten into schools, major Ivy League institutions, without even being questioned? This is a topic that also really upsets me, because I have a master's. I went through school. I went through the gambit. I worked really hard. I know a lot of people, a lot of my colleagues have worked hard as well. And it's still difficult for them to get into, to continue their education and then get into major institutions, also get jobs. Meanwhile, we have people like this getting positions of power. And it is a position of power to be a president of Harvard and get away with that. Thankfully, Claudine Gay didn't get away with that. And I hope more attention gets drawn to this story, because it's really upsetting to see, again, just because she's a Black Indian woman or whatever Kamala Harris is, that she can get away with that. But people like me or you likely can't. Before I go to the next story, I did see that I got some texts and I forgot to read that off before I continued this segment. So I'll be reading these off as well. Bear with me, I do have quite a few texts again. So thank you for the support, by the way. That's so encouraging. This is the premiere episode. This is the first episode of the show, and we're already getting texts. I see chat on the Rumble stream. I'll just be reading this off. Okay, so this person asks, they didn't attach a name, how many races of humans are on Earth? It's like one of those questions where you consider, how many sexualities are there? How many ethnicities or races are there? I can't really tell you, especially with the academic definition of what race versus ethnicity is. I can't tell you. I think, in front of what I've heard, there's a major 6 that are considered the main 6 races of humans on planet Earth. I'm sure that's only ever going to grow, right? Okay, next text. This one's just a quick, nice one. A fantastic premiere, enjoying it, from Bloom. Thank you, Bloom. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. I always heard the site pronounced Wikipedia. My apologies for mispronouncing that. Wikipedia. Yeah, listen, this is my first stream. I'm going to mispronounce some words here. But yes, Wikipedia. That's how you pronounce it. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have here? Kamala, get better ghostwriters. Yes, she needs better ghostwriters. She also needs to fire whoever wrote her last book. Okay. I don't know if I read this text earlier. This person wrote, you mentioned that whites are being conditioned to accept their own replacement. Part of that is being conditioned to accept unfair treatment, such as Comrade Kamala's blatant bribery bucks for blacks. I don't remember if I read that one out loud or not, but that's a very good point. Yes, it is essentially basically just conditioning whites to accept unfair treatment. And as I've listed already in a previous article in the last segment, we're running out of time. I gotta hurry here. As I mentioned in the offensive statistics segment, is that majority of whites, and it's only projected to grow, want to see more blacks, more minorities in their advertising, in their movies. They're trying to condition themselves and accept the fact that, you know, they're trying to basically rectify their perceived sins of the past since the civil rights movement. And this is just another way that they're doing it. That's absolutely true. Okay, last text here for now. I hope I didn't miss any. Is English your second language? Not criticizing, just curious. I get this question asked all the time. Yes, English is my second language. Actually, my first language is Russian. My parents came in the United States, 1991, when the Soviet Union started to break down from Ukraine. But Russian was my first language. I had to learn English pretty quickly when I went into school. And so, yes, it is my second language. However, it is my primary language now, but some people still hear a lisp. Some would say it's a lisp or an accent. Some people don't, some people do. When I talk, I don't hear it. When I hear myself on video, I do hear it. So you're absolutely right. That's a really good catch. Okay, I will be right back to bring up one of our last couple stories here, but since we are getting a little closer to the end, I will probably draw it short here. I'm just going to pull up the last story, and it's a question for you and the audience, so I hope you will tune in for that. So just wait a little longer, and I'll be right back.
Lights so bright, ideals flash in the night, opponents stand side by side, soldiers collide, nowhere to hide. This meet dreams in the street, history on repeat, our world's in a spin, let the future begin.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we stride, in the light of freedom sky. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The red is coming down.
Okay, welcome back to Culturama. We are already reaching the end of the show here, the full 2 hours. I have been just impressed with the outright support that I've been seeing by the fans of the show. It is so exciting to see where this show is going to launch off to. Just to reiterate one more time, support us on Locals if you want behind the scenes posts on the show, or if you want to see upcoming episode topics. Follow us on Locals. You can also support us there directly, whether you want to make a one-time donation or if you want to make multiple donations. It is a For Liberty Network on Locals. Also, if you just want some merchandise of the show, and I know that's going to be really popular as we are going to grow here, you can find us or our merchandise at the forlibertyshop.com. Again, that is a forlibertyshop.com. You can find a sweatshirt there, a mug. We have a pillow, a tote bag, a candle. It's going to be crazy. We're going to get a lot more merchandise. I want to end this show in the last 10 minutes here with a really personal story, kind of a cutesy story. We've covered a lot of heavy topics. We've covered racist Kamala Harris policies. We've covered an NAACP victim of a cop shooting. We've covered some race statistics. You're going to get a lot of that on the show. But I want to end on something a little bit more personal to me and something that I find quite enjoyable. And I want to ask the audience a question in the chat, what you think about this next story here before we end it. And this is a post I made a little while back. I'm not going to get too into it. Basically, I was responding to Milo Yiannopoulos, and I tagged this picture of my dog. He responded back to the tweet. He told me to DM someone to get diet pills, Ozempic, for my dog because he is kind of fat. But here's a picture of him. The reason why I bring this tweet up is because I just want to show you a picture of my boy here. This is Leo. This is him stuck in a box because he is a little overweight, and I was putting him in a box. It's a long story. Don't worry about it. But I just want to show that I have this dog, and I am a big avid Chihuahua enjoyer. I love Chihuahuas. That is one of my, just one of the things I autistically obsess over are Chihuahuas. I have Chihuahua merchandise myself as well. I have Chihuahua socks. I have a Chihuahua PJ set. I have a Chihuahua sweatshirt. So you can only imagine that I was so excited when I saw JD Vance wear socks that seem to have Chihuahuas on them. But I've also seen people claim that it wasn't a Chihuahua and that it was a German Shepherd. So I want to ask you guys, can you help me figure this out? So I made this tweet, I think, a few days ago or last week. I titled it Chihuahua Supremacy in all caps because I got so excited I didn't even stop to think what exactly I was looking at. But this is a picture of JD Vance, and these are the socks that he is wearing. So are these Chihuahuas or are these German Shepherds? Because I've had people tell me, no, this is a German Shepherd. I don't know if he's a German Shepherd owner. I've also had people tell me that these are Chihuahua socks. I thought they were Chihuahua socks. Here's a bigger picture here if you want to look. But yeah, people like zoom, enhance, right? I think these are Chihuahua socks. I don't know. I really hope they are. Tell me in the chat if you think they are or if they're not. I'm hoping the majority of the chats will say they're Chihuahuas because I am an avid Chihuahua supporter. And if they are in fact Chihuahua socks, he's definitely getting my vote. Okay. So anyway, I gotta make some merch with just Leo's face on it. Anyway, I want to say thank you for joining the show and enjoying the premiere of Culturama. I'm so excited to see where this show is going, what kind of an audience we'll cultivate, hopefully better than Nick Fuentes' hopefully we'll make some impact in the cultural and political movement here in the United States. Thank you so much for watching the show. And once again, I air every Tuesday and Thursday. So that's Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 to 9 Central Time. That is also 5 to 7 Pacific Time. That's where I'm from. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, follow us. Go to our merch shop. I plugged that quite a few times already on this show at the forlibertyshop.com. And follow us on Locals and support us on Locals at the forlibertynetwork.com. We will highly appreciate it. I cannot wait to see where this show will go and what kind of an audience we will cultivate and what kind of a community that this show will create. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a very pleasant evening.
Thank you.